My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Souq News. If you're not watching Souq News, I pity you, but keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo and you're watching Souq News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souq News. Guys, keep watching Souq News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, Souq News is your station.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News.
So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching.
Hello and welcome to Souq Pulse. We're still reaching you live from the stables of Souq News. Live on Souq Pulse, we always sit, deliberate and discuss issues that have to do with economies, policies, how they affect businesses, nations, how they are thriving under those policies. We look at international development organizations and we see the policies they are bringing up, trying to make life better for the ordinary person in certain countries and how those countries are coping. We also look at loans taken, paid back, reshuffled, rescheduled. We just sit and discuss issues as they affect nations. We welcome you to this particular show for today. We will have to talk about something that is a bit fast, a whole lot of money on it. And there's also a race on this particular discussion for today. My name is Chuks. Don't go anywhere. When I get back, I'll get to introduce my guest to you. And he's one of scholarly attendants. He's somebody that you will really want to listen to. Hey, so don't go anywhere. Souq Pulse will be right back, right after this break.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata and you're on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
News. My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News.
So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching Souq News.
My name is Olatunji Shotimirin. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Souq News. If you're not watching Souq News, I pity you, but keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timidakolo and you're watching Souq News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souq News. Guys, keep watching Souq News for everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news. Souq News is your station.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata and you're on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome back from that break. We've had a lot of races in this world, as in globally. We had the arms race, everybody trying to be the first to produce the atomic bomb, negative. We had the race to the moon, everybody wanted to go to space and conquer space. It was majorly economical. People were trying to get communication out of the way. We didn't get to see it like that. We've also had the race for energy. I think that even came before the moon. People wanted to be able to be energy sufficient. Then you had the General Electrics. You had mega plants from nuclear to coal to thermal. We had the race for the rail. That was way, way longer. China almost won that race somehow. Now we're having a different kind of race, and that has come with the saving the environment. That has come with the green revolution. A lot of people are looking at it that, yes, we are saving the environment. Of course, we are saving the environment. But with it is also coming a whole lot of technology. And with this technology, the GDP of nations is being shored up. So we are looking at a bit of that part. And we're looking at EVs. Right now, that is where we are. The race to gain superiority in technologies that have to save the environment. Now we are looking at EVs. Countries are positioning. Countries are working. Countries are dutifully setting up not just plants, but making sure that policies are also coming in line and aligning with what they are looking at. We are looking at this particular race on EVs as it affects Africa. Is it going to make Africa sit up? Is Africa part of it? What is Asia doing? Europe started it. Yep, we can say that in a bit. But right now, China and their neighbors are leading it. As we speak, the Asia has over 31% of the EV market. And now let's look at policies. Not long ago, the US said by 2030, 50% of every new car sold must be an EV car. The European Union have done the same thing. By the same date, 2030. China have done the same thing. Now, can you see what it's looking like? These are policies that have been signed into law. Let's now look at our own side of it. Are we ready for this change that is coming? That's what we'll be talking about today, and a whole lot more. And how it also affects other industries. Whether we like it or not, the change has come. So today with us on Souq Pulse, we'll be having a guest, a lecturer, a scholar, someone who is an expert in automotive engineering. We'll be having Dr. Mohammed Usman Kaisan. He is from the Department of Mechanical Engineering from the Ahmadu Bello University in Nigeria. He will join us on the show today. Dr. Mohammed, good afternoon. You're welcome. How are you doing, sir? Can you hear me? Okay.
A very good afternoon to you, Chuks.
Nice hearing your voice. It's nice hearing your voice. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and you?
Fine. You can see I'm trying to be like you.
Really? You are much better.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us on Souq Pulse. It's nice having you. Yeah, we are looking and discussing the race, the EV race. Is it going to make Africa sit up? And we're also looking at how far and how well have other nations or other climes done. As we speak, branding-wise, it used to be the United States of America. It used to be one particular company called Tesla. But in the last two years, China have told them, hey, don't try us on this. We are not just crawling, we are running. And a particular company is right now having a share of that market to well over 20%. I'm not trying to call a specific names, if I've called the first one. And the first three companies in the first 10 are all Asian companies. We've not started talking about what this company is going to disrupt in the long run. But let's just start like a basis. Do you think Africa as a whole sees this as a change and is ready for the change that is coming?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. Over decades, fossil fuels and other carbonizing energy sources have been used to generate power for sustainable industrial application, for transportation, lighting, powering of heating and cooling devices, and for prime moving in machining and production engineering. But the effect of the fossil fuels on the environment, especially in climate change, which is due to greenhouse gases liberation during the combustion of the fossil fuels, cannot be over-accentuated. However, research has convened the use of renewable and alternative sources, especially now in the transport sector, where electric vehicles are the talk of town. Therefore,
hello, Dr. Usman. Can you hear us? Okay. We will reconnect with him. We will reconnect with him very, very soon. Just like he was postulating for a very long time till date, we've solely and majorly depended on fossil fuel to power our cars, to drive the train. First, we'll try using coal. Then we tried phasing out coal. Then we'll try using electricity. That's for the new trains right now. But over 70%, almost 90% of the cars on our road still use fossil fuel. Now let's start bringing the chicken home to roast. If the West is saying and putting up a policy that by 2030, 50% of brand new cars sold must be EV vehicles. EV vehicles, electric vehicles. Let me now start telling us how it's going to affect us directly. Which means before 2030, these cars must have been produced. I don't know if you are getting it. Now, from now to 2030 is barely 6 years. Less than 6 years. Africa, who is going to buy your fuel? If we don't find a particular place to play in this race, we have a quota from OPEC, and that is like majorly the major foreign earner for a lot of African countries that are fuel-producing countries. Now, by the time this technology goes full-blown, who is going to buy your fuel? Now, for every technology, there is always other industries that are disrupted. So we see this clearly. Where can we play in this space? There are several places we can play in this space. It's unlike before where we say that we have a whole lot of reserve, be it a particular solid mineral. The major thing that people look for in EVs that they might not have or their country might not have is lithium, manganese, cobalt, used in making the batteries. And as we speak, Africa, we don't have the monopoly for this particular raw material. Other countries, several still do. We don't even have the majority deposit here, but we do. How do we plan to play in this space? These are things that we really need to sit back, and our policymakers need to sit back and ask ourselves serious questions. If we can't export as much crude as we used to do, if we can't sell as much petrol, gasoline, or gas that we used to do, how do we plan to be part of this particular race? Our guest is back. And sir, can we have you back? Dr. Usman.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you back.
Thank you, and I apologize for the technical challenges.
You don't need for the apologies. We understand.
Thank you. As I was saying, there are a lot of prospects for electric vehicles in Africa. There are quite some challenges as well. The issue of electric vehicle has been taken seriously by the government of President Bola Ahmadu Tinubu. For the government to have made it, especially the office of the vice president, as one of the prominent agendas they want to achieve. And the National Automotive Design and Development Council has been doing a lot of effort to ensure the redeployment of the technology here in the country. Especially one of the challenges they needed to address is the manpower gap in terms of maintenance of the electric vehicle. You know, with any technology that comes into a country, there is need for sustenance and maintenance of that device. So the EV, I was opportune to be part of those who drafted the curriculum for training the technologies in collaboration with MBTE and NADDC on that training of the maintenance personnel. Although a lot of challenges like the issue of charging infrastructure will render the efforts of the government useless unless if properly addressed. You cannot have a certain drive from one country or one city to another without a single charging point on your expressway. For instance, now someone who wishes to travel from Maiduguri to Lagos will likely fly the roads all over without a single charging station. Then for somebody who wants to purchase electric vehicle, if you cannot charge it, then and you are charging, your battery runs down. It becomes a serious lacuna. Another issue is the issue of economic constraints. Most of the electric vehicles are very expensive to purchase. That is, they have high initial costs. Although the maintenance is mostly cheap, but the cost of purchasing is very high. And Nigerians are used to combo vehicle, where a person will lodge 1, 2, 3 million to purchase a vehicle. Whereas with electric vehicle, it's not an easy tax or easy transaction. And there are so many other challenges, but the prospect is that it will lead to cleaner environments and it will help in the transportation, improvement in our transportation sector. Then the 1 million naira question is, who will be responsible for bringing those infrastructures? Is it the government or the marketers? People are spending a hell of money to build a petrol filling station across the roads. But this is also an opportunity for private individuals to invest their money in the charging infrastructure. When you move around the globe, most of the developed countries that use EV have these infrastructures on ground. But here in the country, because there is one of the challenges which has to do with lack of awareness, that is not attainable education in the sector. People do not know how lucrative that business is. And that is also one of the things that challenge.
Just give me a nod. Give me a nod if you can hear me. Yeah, when he was talking, he mentioned that the government of Nigeria is positioning to take advantage of this particular technology. So I'm going to pose this question to him. Dr. Usman, I hope you can hear me. I need to ask you, from the government part of it and from your knowledge of being a part of that particular council on this formation of these policies, are we positioning ourselves as players or as consumers?
Yes, the intention by the National Automotive Design and Development Council is to play ourselves as players. But due to the delay in deployment of technology, I cannot see us moving fast in accordance with the global trend. Therefore, we'll likely end up being consumers for a long period. Although there is a recent collaboration between a Chinese company and the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure in the deployment of the electric vehicle technology, and particularly addressing one of the key challenges, that is the issue of lithium-ion battery, that is the batteries that will last long in the EVs. The lithium is quite available or abundant in nature in the country, but processing it and producing a battery requires a very high technology. And the government is trying to position itself, but the rate we are moving is a bit slower. I think we need to add our steps, to increase our steps, or to increase our pace to catch up with the global challenges, because these technologies are rapidly transforming and countries are moving far and far away. They call us third world countries. And if we are not careful, they will address us as fifth world countries, because the rate at which they are moving is far, far away from the way we are trying to catch up.
Now, let's go back to that first question. If we are positioning as players, it's our race to run. Now, before we start thinking of competing with the West or competing with Asia, I think we should first look at ourselves. How can we satisfy our market? We have the population here that buy, be it the Tokumbo car, as you said, or the brand new cars. Now, let me start with this premise. There used to be a company in India, although now is a very big company, but you know it. This is your field. Tata. When Tata started, their vehicles were ugly. You can bear witness. Though they were looking mainly at tractors and looking at those funny-looking kind of four-wheel vehicles, but the Indians and the Indian population accepted them and bought them the way they were. They were not looking as luxurious and as good as other cars coming from outside India. Can we start formulating technologies, EV technologies? We are not trying to compete right now because you have said it, we can't compete, but can we start a homegrown that we can develop for us, for Nigerians, and brand it Nigerians, and Nigerians will buy?
Yeah, I think there is possibility, but the task is enormous. If you recall, you may wish to recall that there were assembly plants in the country that they are almost not operational or not fully operational now. There was a time Nigeria was assembling steer vehicles in Bauchi. There was a time the Peugeot Automobile Nigeria Limited was assembling a lot of cars. When you go to the place, it's a busy assembling plant. And the government has made it then as a policy that all government workers at certain level must utilize or patronize those Peugeot vehicles. And now Innocent is as a public-private partnership or as a private industry is producing beautiful vehicles. But the lack of patronage from the country is our major concern. As a government, we have to come up with a policy, especially being that the government is one of the major consumers of these vehicles. certain tiers of government have to utilize the made in Nigeria or assembled in Nigeria vehicles, if at all we want to patronize the company. Because the number of cars used within the country by different ministries, departments, and agencies are so much in number that if they could patronize a single company, that company will stand the test of time. But also, we have to also inculcate the habit or spirit of nationalism into our citizenry to ensure that people are patronizing whatever is produced from Nigeria. Right now, we have inferiority complex that Nigerians don't like to utilize Nigerian products. And that is a very big setback to any industry, let alone the automotive industry that looks a bit more sophisticated. So if we want to develop electric vehicle technology, we have to have trained personnel, especially in the areas of design. There should be varieties of different vehicles that we can assemble or produce. Because just like Tata, as you said, when they started, they were into tractors and heavy equipment, and they later on moved to other different, automobiles. So as a country too, we have to accept that there are tests. People have individual fashions. So we have to do a lot of designs with different, aesthetics to entice our fellow citizens to patronize our products. And doing that does not mean compromising efficiency and safety of the vehicle.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Usman. Now let's go to the future. Fast forward 8 years from now. The US, Europe, Asia, they have put down their policy and say 50% brand new cars EV by 2030. Now add 2 more years to it. If we have mass production, mass adoption of EV vehicles across the continent, these are the major people, bear in mind, these are the major people buying our crude oil. What is going to happen to crude oil export in Africa? How is it going to shake up that particular industry?
Interestingly, the crude oil is not only used to power automobiles. There are so many products attached to the petroleum or to the crude oil. There are petrochemicals that are used in the manufacturing of other consumables. There are so many essential chemicals, and we have heavy-duty, equipment that may not be easily powered with electricity. And we have the maybe lacks of low power fuel oil, LPFO, that will be combusted in coal-fired power plants and other plants like cement manufacturing industries and the rest. All these are byproducts of the crude oil. PMS and AGO are just part of the products. Candle wax is a product. And there are so many of them that can be used for fumigation. That is for insecticides or pesticides. And so some can be used for other applications. So stopping the use of petroleum in our vehicle does not mean the end of crude oil. There are so many other applications, clean applications that can be used. The crude oil can be used to devise the electric vehicles, the internal combustion engines. So I can see that.
Will it in any way affect the percentage of our crude oil use or refined products use?
Yeah, I think it may not have so much effect on the refined products use because their other applications are continuous so far. The only little consumption that will be left is the one consumed by the automobiles. That is the one that maybe will have a gap. And such gap can be refilled with other renewable energies. In Nigeria, we have abundant renewable energy sources. We have enough solar energy. We have enough wind energy. We can boast of a sufficient amount of geothermal and the rest. This can complement what we miss in the global market. For instance, now, if Nigeria, as we start producing solar panels, if we can market to the neighboring African countries, it will add to the GDP and reduce what we miss in what we call it in the petroleum industry. Likewise, if we venture into design of wind turbines and others, in the energy sector alone, we can compensate the little loss due to the PMS or AGO export. So I believe it's not coming to kill our economy, but rather to boost our economy.
You are not just seeing it, you're thinking forward and looking for, okay, if we are losing this percentage on this particular refined product, we can compensate if we go ahead and do these other measures. But hold your thoughts right there. We are going on a break and Souq Pulse will be right back. Please don't go anywhere.
Lateef Jakande. Born Lateef Kayode Jakande in the Ekbetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State on July 1929. He studied at the Lagos Public School at Enowa, Lagos Island, then at Bonham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, King's College, enrolled at Ilesha Grammar School, where he edited a literary paper called The Quarterly Mirror. Jakande began a career in journalism in 1949 with the Daily Service and joined the Nigerian Tribune in 1953. The owner, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, appointed Jakande editor-in-chief of the Tribune in 1956. Jakande established John West Publications in 1975 after leaving Tribune and began to publish the Lagos News. He served as the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN. Jakande ran for election as executive governor of Lagos State in 1979 on the Unity Party of Nigeria platform. His administration was effective and open and implemented the cardinal policies of his party. He introduced housing and educational programs targeting the poor, building new neighborhood primary and secondary schools, and providing free primary and secondary education. He gave poor people's children education, and many of them are now very prominent in the society today. Jakande established the Lagos State University and constructed over 30,000 housing units. After the military takeover in 1983, Jakande was charged, prosecuted, and convicted of treason and later pardoned. He served as Minister of Works under the Sani Abacha military regime. He died in Lagos on February 11, 2021. Lateef Jakande was the first civilian governor of Lagos State. Lateef Kayode Jakande, Souq Enlightenment.
Hello and welcome back to Souq Pulse. We're still here and we have Dr. Mohammed Usman Kaisan. He's a senior lecturer from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Ahmadu Bello University, an expert in automotive engineering. He's been here with us and we're discussing the EV race. Is it a call for Africa to sit up? By 5 o'clock, the news decks will be coming to give us major information on happenings around. We are still talking EVs, and we're looking at here on our side of the climb. How prepared are we? How are we joining in? What niche have we proposed or preparing to play? Who, government or the private sector, is going to take the lead and go out there and make things happen? It's all about shoring up the GDP of nations. And we cannot sit back and just watch and be consumers. Dr. Usman, are you back with us, sir?
Yes, I am back with you.
Thank you very much. Now we are going to be a bit very pacey. We are going to be very pacey on this, and I have some very questions I need like short answers, some short answers too. If we look at the South African bloc, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and South Africa, they've been exporting lithium for a while. But of recent, they came up with this policy and say, hey, we are not exporting these raw materials like this. We want a value chain addition. Something has to be done to it. If it's making the batteries or making the cells, then you come and take the cells, good and fine. We are yet to see that happen. Do you think that is an option Africa as a whole can take and be a major player in this race for EVs and power batteries?
Yes, this is a very good option to be observed by the whole continent, and particularly Nigeria as a country that has a big deposit of lithium should lead this campaign, because we have a lot of deposit that is being exported, either legally or illegally. So we need to take this policy very importantly.
Okay, now what about the research facilities? I know for ABU has a thriving department, but right now we have issues with the research facilities, which the federal government, people, when things happen, we always look at the government, but a lot of these companies that are making their marks are all private entities. Government just makes sure that the policy favors and works out for them. How can we attract research funding for EVs in Nigeria?
I think the idea is very simple. Sometimes it's just plus minus, addendum and dedendum, or addition and subtraction. For instance, now that the
Hello? Okay, hello, Dr. Usman. Oh, you're still having the network issue. We as a nation, we need to not just get poised and get ready for this, because whether we like it or not, it is coming. It's here with us. So, Dr. Usman, can we have you, please? Thank
you. Yes, I'm with you. Am I audible to you?
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I said the federal government of Nigeria has recently removed subsidy on the PMS products as well as other petroleum products. That money saved from subsidy removal can also be deployed for research facilities and even subsidize other private companies, that is indigenous companies that want to go into this EV production. I don't think it's something of a hell. It's very easy that the government can do plus, minus, addition, and subtraction to remove from this sector and empower this sector.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now you are talking from the knowledge of someone that has been in government council and policy formation. We might not really understand that, but we still hold you to it, because we'll still ask more of these questions. Maybe not today, but at a later time. Now, everybody is looking at going green. And whether we like it or not, yes, it's good for the environment. Yes, it's to save our environment. But we know that there's a whole lot of technology and there's a whole lot of business part of going green. You've mentioned in your earlier submission, you mentioned about solar panels. You mentioned about some other things. Now, can we as a people say, okay, before we start looking at a big company, can we start making provisions for charging spots? You were talking about people citing filling stations, petrol stations on roads where nobody even lives. But can we now start looking at making provisions for charging spots along major highways? Let's even start from the inner occupied cities first. Is it possible? If we can't even use electricity, we have a whole lot of sunlight here. Can Africa start looking at that and start making provision for this while we plan and await the arrival of this particular technology?
Sure. The technology has already arrived. It's just that there are little delays in catching up with the global trend, as I mentioned earlier. Ab initio, the National Automotive Design and Development Council has constructed some pilot charging plants in specific universities in the country. For instance, I was able to visit the one in University of Lagos, at the main campus in Akoka, and the one in, they said there is another one in Danfodio University, Sokoto also. So this pilot plant in Lagos I visited is perfect and is charging very well. This is to show the citizens that this thing is workable, and you can power it using solar panels. That is 100% solar. You charge your batteries while the vehicles come in, charge and leave. So it's a very good and feasible business. Or it's now, what do you call it? Is now left for our companies or private investors to look into the technology and see how they can quickly go into it. Because the competition may be high, very soon people will abandon filling stations and be coming to charging station. So the earlier a company adopts that, the better. You can see some big companies, although I wanted not to be calling names, are now transforming their names. For instance, now Total is now Total Energy. People are realizing NMPC now is changing the name and the logo. Renewable is becoming part of all the oil and gas companies. So this is a very good chance for all the companies, including the NMPC itself, to move into these charging points, as well as other government parastatals to give incentive to people who are trying to maybe go into this. For instance, now could be tax holidays by the Federal Inland Revenue on people who are investing on this until maybe they break even also. These are the kind of things that government should use to incentivize the business to fasten or to fast track the progress of EVs in the country.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed Usman Kaisan. We want to say thank you very much for coming on the show today, and we look forward to having you on another day when we have 2 hours to talk, because this we can't just finish this today. There's been a lot of expose on this, and we'll say thank you. Thank you very much for coming, sir.
It is my relief being on this media. Thank you very much for contacting me.
Okay, you're welcome, sir. Now, remember, this is a race. We always see this as business, and we in Souq News, we look at the positive side of things. We tell you, hey, let's leave the problem. Let's look for the solution, because when you sort solutions, when you solve solutions, when you provide solutions, you are bound to make money. We are looking forward to show up our GDP. Let's provide solutions. EVs have come to stay. Let no one deceive you. It's a race. Every country is running. Africa needs to play a part, and we must play a part positively. For every research institute out there, and you have something that you have patented and it works, please open up. Let other companies that can invest into your research have it, and make sure that this business leaves the paper and works. I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Chuks. The news comes up shortly at 5. Don't go anywhere.
The National Theatre, Igomu, built during the military regime of Olusegun Obasanjo and finished in the time for the Second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture, Festac, in 1977. The theatre holds amazing treasures and memories. The artworks fill everyone with pride. The National Arts Theatre is visible from the motorway.
Hello and welcome to News Update. I am Grace Komalafe. A nation's transformation hinges on the continuous learning of its people, starting from the leadership to the youngest of them capable of doing things. On this basis, FRC and ADSC have joined the effort to train key stakeholders within the public sector. Stick around as we take this report. Collaboration with Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC, organized a one-week service-wide strategic training with the theme Enhancing Public Revenue and Expenditure Management, starting on the 22nd of January 2024 at Watercrest Hotel, Awolowo Road, Ikeja, Lagos. The opening kicked off with a patriotic rendition of the national anthem led by Asheda Emmanuel, setting the tone for a week of commitment and learning. Victor Murako, Executive Chairman CEO of FRC, delivered the opening remarks, acknowledging the presence of distinguished guests, including the presence of the Chief Executive Director, ADSC, Ambassador Victor Walsh Oluwafemi, facilitators and representatives from various MDAs, while he highlighted the critical need for the training. Top managers and officials from Nigerian ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, who came for this intensive 5-day workshop aimed at bolstering their skills in managing public finances, shared their thought with Souq News.
The reason why we're here is to broaden our knowledge on the enhancing the strategy of managing our revenue base as a country and also improving on our expenditure spending habits so that we have surplus, we'll not be borrowing all the time. And it has become our norms in this country that we believe in borrowing, and it's not taking us to any place because it is the right time. The present government in place, their end bent is reforming the economy so that it will benefit every Nigerian, both at home and those in the diaspora.
We are here to learn on an improvement on what we are already doing as it relates to revenue generation. We should not lose hope. There is no better place than Nigeria.
Well, as you know, this is a training on revenue generation and fund management for the government. Like I said earlier, I hope to gain more knowledge on how to manage these funds and how do we get more revenue in our organizations. We are not really revenue generating company, but for the fact that we have obligation to run, we have mandate to run, so we need to know, we need ideas to get how to generate more revenue for the government, for the company, and for the government entirely.
Other activities include training sessions, puzzle of assumption introduced by the moderator and Vice President of ADSC, Idausa Osamaze, and more interview with some key players presented at the event.
Nigerian Council of Food Science and Technology, we are just new. And I have a whole lot to gain because we are just starting to charge professionals on paying for their licenses. And that means a lot. So I'm here to understand how to manage the revenue that we're going to get from the food professionals.
We have had several capacity building and trainings of this sort with them. And so I can't think of any agency that will feign ignorance of the provisions of the Act today. And then we also collaborate with the National Assembly in ensuring that agencies comply with their obligations. As they are, invited to the National Assembly to come and make their report or give their report, the report of their annual audited accounts or the performance of their budget and so on. We sit in with them. They have to come to us, to show us evidence of remittances that they made to government and all that. So with that, compliance has actually increased, I can say.
The vision I have as the Director General of the agency, the only federal government agency mandated to ensure that natural medicine or indigenous medicine develops in the country, is that in the next 2 to 3 years, we will become confident enough as a people to start believing in ourselves and believing in our own, and agree that as a people and as a nation, we will develop our own natural medicine to the extent that there's locally available products that our people can use. They are durable, they are safe, they are available, they are accessible, and we not only have them to use, but that we can also export them.
Participants are optimistic about this gathering as it marks a significant step towards equipping officers of public finance management in order to navigate the complexities of Nigeria's economy. Grace Komolafe, Souq News. The Catholic Archbishop of Lagos, Dr. Adewale Martins, has called on the leaders to make extra efforts in curbing activities of bandits and criminals across the nation. The Archbishop made this admonition on Wednesday as he marked 26 years anniversary of his ordination as a bishop. He noted that without peace and security, no meaningful development can be achieved.
We as a nation have not been able to provide that which is necessary for the welfare, the basic things for the welfare of people. One feels a sense of disappointment. Even though you celebrate 26 years, you do your best, but there's still so much more to do. So we just use like an occasion such as this to challenge those who have responsibility over the people of this nation, that the rate of kidnapping that we are finding in this country is just beyond tolerance. The rate of insecurity, the rate of activities of bandits all over this nation is such that makes anyone who is celebrating anything good such as this also feel a sense of what are we celebrating, you know. But we thank God. The leaders must certainly recognize the fact that without the people, they will not be called leaders, and therefore without the welfare of the people, they cannot be said to be successful or to be effective as leaders. And therefore, we call on them to use all the resources that they have for common good, rather than for what we see these days in many of our leaders, for parochial goods and for goods that do not serve the majority of people. So that's the kind.
The Nigerian Federal Account Allocation Committee, FAC, has shared 1.127 trillion naira to the federal, state and local council out of about 1.674 trillion naira generated in December at the January 2024 FAC meeting chaired by the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madden. It was also revealed that the stated amount inclusive of gross statutory revenue, value-added tax, electronic money transfer levy, and exchange difference, the federal government received over 383 billion naira, while the state got over 396 billion naira. The councils have over 288 billion naira. The oil-producing states smiled as they got 57.119 billion naira as 13% derivation. Away from Nigeria, in a move aimed to supporting the country's economy recovery amidst sharp declines in stock markets, China's Upper Bank, the People's Bank of China, is set to implement the forced reserve requirements ratio cut of the year starting 5th of February. Facing challenges from the house and market distress, local government, debt risk, and weakened global demand, China's second largest economy aims to bolster momentum in 2024. The central bank's governor, Pan Gongchen, who announced this, also revealed a significant 50 basis point RRR cut, injecting approximately 1 trillion yen into the market, surpassing analysts' expectations. Similarly, mainland stocks reacted positively after closing, countering the recent downward trend that saw China's stock markets decline by 13% in 2023. With the CSI 300 index hitting near 5-year lows at beginning of the new year. ASML Holdings, Europe's tech giant, has continued to maintain a conservative 2024 outlook despite a surge in semiconductor industry recovery, with a staggering 9.2 billion euro in 2023 fourth quarter orders, particularly for cutting-edge extreme EUV systems. The Dutch company's shares soared by 7%, reaching a 22% increase in the past year. In the fourth quarter alone, the company's sales reached 7.2 billion euros, boasting a net income of 2 billion euros. The CEO of the company, Peter Wenink, noted the company's unique position as the sole manufacturer of EUV lithography systems. Former head of Dutch permanent representation in Brussels, Robert de Groot, is set to join the Europe Investment Bank (EIB) Management Committee, succeeding Belgian Vice President Chris Peters from February 1. The decision endorsed by the bank's stakeholders and EU member states signifies a strategic move to bolster the bank's leadership team with his extensive diplomatic experience. The growth nominated by the Netherlands brings a wealth of experience from his distinguished career in the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs since 1988. The bank's president, Nadia Calvino, has praised the appointment while stressing on his deep knowledge of EU affairs. With a background in economics, De Groot aims to collaborate with President Calvino and the Management Committee to guide the bank's activities for the benefit of European businesses, households, and global partners. Thank you for joining, and do follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates. I am Grace Komolafe. Good afternoon.